This week's book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is absolutely one of my favorite books ever that I have read. I've read it over and over and over again. This is such an important book. You have probably heard of it before. It's really like a bestseller. Over 16 million copies sold. And like in the cover, there's a quote from Warren Buffett: "Carnegie changed my life." Persuasion, dealing with people, learning people skills, that's very important if you want to be successful in life. And here are my favorite 5 ideas, my book summary of this book. And it's kind of hard to come up with just 5 ideas because there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of chapters even in this book. But here are, if I would have to choose 5 of the best ones, here are my favorite 5 takeaways. So number 1 is that you don't want to criticize people, and how he says it, he has these nutshells here, like these summaries. So part 1 in a nutshell, the principle 1 was don't criticize, condemn or complain. Don't criticize, condemn or complain. That's that principle 1. So why is that so important? It's because people really, they are proud. Benjamin Franklin says that one of the most difficult thing to overcome is pride. So people are really proud, and they are creatures of emotion, not creatures of logic. So if you come and criticize someone like you're doing this wrong or something, or you judge someone because they did something bad, even a criminal thinks that they are doing something, that they have good intentions. They really think that they are doing the right thing, even if they do, like if they murder people or like steal money and everything. Like in the first chapter he has many of these examples of like Al Capone and so on. Even the criminals don't judge themselves. So what do you think of the average person walking down the street? Do you think they judge themselves for anything? No. So if you do that, that will hurt their self-esteem, and they will resent you. They will probably just return that criticism back to you. It comes back like a homing pigeon. So like he says there. And number 2 is that, let me see my notes, there's a lot of notes I have here. So second is that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to feel important. The desire to feel important, that's one of the biggest points in this book that he also emphasizes. So you need to remember that people really, their behavior comes from that desire to feel important or to be great. So again, nobody wants to be criticized because then they don't feel important. Any other things like as well, like criticism always like hurts their like sense of importance. But then on the other side, if you can make them feel important, if you can make them if you can be interested in them and so on, then you can really win friends and influence people. So you want to keep that always in mind when you deal with people, that you don't want to appear like you are more important than them, or you are not like valuing them or appreciating them. You want to give honest and sincere appreciation. I think here it was also in the first part, somewhere here, like give honest and sincere appreciation. Then number 3 idea is that let me check real quick. Number 3 is that you want to talk in terms of the other person's wants, and this is something that I've read in a lot of sales books as well. Like that's the important thing in sales, that you see the other person's point of view and talk in terms of what they want. But it's also important just when you try to persuade people day to day or just win friends, you want to talk about what they want. You don't want to talk about what they don't want. So if you want someone to, like he had some example of like some kid, I think, who wanted to play basketball, but all he thought the other guys was that someone got like a black eye and something like that, and all the negatives and nothing that the other people would want. And if he had talked instead about like how it makes them feel good and more energized, have sharper brain after that, and it's fun and everything, so that way he could have like persuaded them. But if you don't talk about what they want, they don't really care. Like it's like going fishing with ice cream. The fish don't want ice cream, they want worms. No matter how much you like ice cream, the fish still wants worms, and you need to give them worms if you want to fish. And number 4 is that you want to be genuinely interested in other people. Like everybody is so interested in themselves that people like really appreciate it when they find like a person who is actually really interested in their hobbies and like really interested in them genuinely, and not like just acting like they are interested in them just to make a sale or something, but genuinely interested. And 5, that was number 4, right? Yes, and number 5 is that you don't ever want to argue. Arguments they can never lead to a positive result, because even if you win the argument, then the other person will just resent you because now they feel like they're stupid or something because they didn't know something, they weren't right. And I don't remember what page it was, but he said something like a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So even if you win the argument, the person is still going like walking away like I'm still not agreeing with that person. Like I still think like still think that it's this and that, and it's this way, not that way. So it's really impossible to win an argument. And you rather like, even if he had an example of like someone quoting something from supposedly from Bible, even though it was from the works of Shakespeare, and then he corrected him, but then afterwards his friend was like, why did you do that? Like you should have just made that person feel important and not correct him. Let him just tell everybody what he thought, or even though he was mistaken. You don't want to correct people because then they will just resent you and you will just hurt their feelings and everything. So never argue, and that's very important in sales as well, that you don't argue with the customer. So those are my favorite 5 ideas. This book and tons of other books you can find from bookdepository.com, which is the sponsor of this video. So if you want to support this channel, and I give you a lot of book ideas on this channel, just shop your books, including this book, if you want to buy it from the link in the description, and bookdepository.com will pay a small commission for me from those books. So get some books today, and thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet, hit thumbs up for this video if it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.